And as always, we begin with a moment of intention. We say that there's healing available here. Healing doesn't just imply relief from illness, but it implies awakening, empowering, opening, movement. So this is a 1 hour for your benefit. This is all about you. I'm helping you. It's not about me. And we want to empower you to take steps towards your visions and your dreams, and to also be relieved of any fear, pain, or suffering that may be hampering your life. That's what this hour is about. And if you agree, say, I agree, say, I do. Say, so it is. And we'll get on with our time together. Okay, good to see you all. So I'd like to start with a little theme, and then we'll get into our coaching sessions. Abraham Hicks talks about contrast. Please keep your video off, everybody, so we don't distract each other. So Abraham Hicks talks about contrast. And I think there's no more poignant time on the planet. Keep your audio off too, please. Mute yourself. And there's no more poignant time on the planet to study contrast than at this very moment. I don't think there's ever been a greater contrast on the planet. So, we've said many times that there are an infinite number of parallel realities existing in the universe. Jesus said, in my Father's house there are many mansions, meaning that there are so many different states of consciousness and belief systems and realities and experiences that it's mind-boggling to think of how many there are. And some of them have a little overlap, and some of them have no overlap. And so what's happening on the planet now is that the contrast is being amplified immensely, so that everyone gets to choose which reality you prefer to live in. And as I said, some of them have no overlaps. Now, I'm going to tell you a little one-person story, and then we'll extrapolate it to the entire planet. So I had a client named Tom, and Tom told me an interesting story. He said, I have two fathers, my biological father and my stepfather. And he said, they're both very different. My biological father was kind of a playboy, and he ran around with women, and he threw around a lot of money, and he drank, and he joked, and he was kind of a fun guy, but he was kind of a wild guy. And eventually, my mother divorced him for all those reasons. And then she remarried, and her new husband was the polar opposite of the first husband. This guy's very conservative, very stable, almost morose. He was very dependable, but not a real fun guy. And he said, as I grew up with these two fathers, I had to figure out what was the truth about each of them. And over time, I realized that I could learn from both of them. And he said, from my first father, my biological father, I learned the value of being freewheeling and generous and enjoying life and partying and being a player. And, his exuberance of life was really inspiring. Unfortunately, he was kind of unbridled, so he created problems for himself and his family. My second father was a really nice guy, but he was pretty boring. And he was kind of strict, and he was kind of controlling, and I really respected him for his stability. But I didn't respect him for the fact that he was not very alive. And so he said, I learned from both of these fathers. I learned by contrasting their pros and their cons, their attributes and their deficits. And he said, now that I'm a father and I have my own family, what I'm attempting to do is take the best from each one and leave the rest from each one. I'm trying to incorporate what I respect about both guys and not incorporate what I don't respect. So in a sense, even though neither of them were perfect, they have both inspired me and trained me to become a better husband and father myself. So, well, that's a really great use of that experience, Tom. So let's extrapolate this to what's going on the planet. So, the 2016 election was pivotal because what happened was it forced at least America to decide what you believe. Because the president that was elected, that was so intense that you were either on the bus or off the bus. There was hardly any middle ground. And so everyone had to make a stand for what they believed in. And the belief systems have virtually no overlap. One teacher, Bashar, said that it's as if there are now two countries in the US existing simultaneously, and they have hardly anything to do with each other. They have hardly any dialogue, and they're both trudging along according to their own belief systems. And each person in each belief system is reaping the rewards or the lack of rewards from what they're believing. So the sharp contrast has forced everybody to really dig in and decide, what do I believe and what do I stand for and how am I going to live my life? That's the value of a leader who stimulates controversy and contrast. Now, the coronavirus and pandemic has forced the same kind of thing from an entirely different angle. It's forced the choice between fear and faith, between trust and mistrust, between resistance and allowance, between confusion and clarity. And a lot of people are really scared about the virus, and a lot of people have had to dig in and find where their faith lives. This homestay period, this quarantine period, has forced people to make the most of that. Some people are upset and bummed out about it and don't want to do it, and they're resisting it and think it's not necessary. And other people are finding ways to use it for their benefit. Some people are getting really, really scared and angry about the pandemic, and other people are using it to bolster their faith and recognize that I am safe, I am guided by God, I'm protected by God, I'm in my right place. Maybe I'll wear my mask, maybe I'll do all the social distancing, but I don't have to be afraid, I don't have to get weird, I don't have to get upset. I will go on with my life and I will be a light to the world. So some people are sucking light from the world, and other people are adding light to the world. And it's almost like there's no in between. You're having to decide who you are, what you believe, what you stand for, and how you're going to live. Now, it's not comfortable for a lot of us. We have to make strong decisions. People's jobs are changing. A lot of people are working from home now, and I must say a lot of people are loving working from home. I've spoken to a lot of people who said, well, since I can't go to the office, I'm really happy to work from home. This is a good thing. I think I want to keep doing this. And so there's always a blessing, and there's always benefits. And the fearful mind, guided by ego, is always looking at the downside, and the opportune mind, the open mind, the willing mind is always looking at possibilities, gifts, and blessings. No event in the world has any intrinsic meaning by itself. Every event is neutral. It's what we make of it that determines our experience. And this is lesson 1 and 2 of A Course in Miracles. Nothing I see has any meaning. Lesson 2 is everything I see has only the meaning I've given it. So is that true about politics? Yes. Is it true about the pandemic? Absolutely. So the pandemic, in a way, is neutral in the sense that it's just facts. What we do with those facts and how we make them work on our behalf or against us determines our experience. 2 men looked out through prison bars. One saw mud, the other stars, said James Allen. So you're looking at the mud or the stars. There's always mud, and there's always stars during every generation. The question is, what are you looking at, and what is the world you live in as a result? Good lesson, isn't it? It's in our face. You cannot get around it. You have to face what's going on and make a choice. And I'm pretty sure that those who are watching this are making good choices, because this is a program that stands for well-being and wholeness. Okay, I hope that's helpful to you. We have some folks lining up for coaching. We'll take them in the order that I see them, especially folks who haven't spoken yet. So let's go to Ashley Elizabeth. And we will put your video on, dear. We'll have a little chat and we'll see what's going on with you. Hello, dear. Can you unmute yourself, or I'll mute you? Go ahead. There.
Hi.
Hello, what's going on?
I'm kind of heartbroken right now. On Tuesday, my dad basically broke up with me. Can you still hear me? I can't hear you.
So your dad broke up with you, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or divorced me, however you want to, like, you know.
He doesn't want to connect with you.
Yeah. He shut me out, basically.
Okay.
He sent me an email. I guess, like, he got mad because, like, I asked him. I didn't do it without asking him. I asked him if it was okay if I reached out to his dad's current wife. He has not talked to his dad in the past 25 years because I guess apparently his dad's not a nice guy. And so I asked if I could reach out to his dad's ex-wife on Facebook, and he said sure, but not to say anything about him. I said fine. So then there was about a week ago, there was we had a new sibling match, or new kid match, you know, to him on Ancestry. And so I reached out to her after a week. I let it, you know, I let a week go by and I didn't reach out right away. So then he got mad at me for reaching out. But I have a right to reach out to her. I mean, I guess he just assumed that she didn't know her whole, you know, didn't know if her dad wasn't her dad, kind of a thing. But she, like me, her mom was single. And so she knew, you know, so she knew her whole life. Like I kind of had thought, because I looked on Ancestry and I found her birth record on Ancestry and it saw that her mother's main name was the same as her name. So I had a good feeling that she had known her life. So, but I did wait a week or so and reached out. And then then he got mad at me about, so then that's when he cut me off. So he told me I'm selfish and this and yada, yada, yada. And that I don't care about other people's feelings. So, but you know, I mean, so I'm just devastated, and I cried my eyes out on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're hurting, dear. This is a painful situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I feel you're upset. You know, you want to reach out to your dad. He responded initially, but now he shuts you out. And that's painful when somebody you love and value shuts you out. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you've been working with him long enough to know that where does anger come from? Where does his anger come from? What's fueling his anger?
Well, he just thinks that I'm kind of selfish and don't care about other people. And you know, I just get excited when I see a new match all the time. And so I want to reach out. And he has this thing about, I think he himself is maybe guarded about it, that they don't know. You know, that they're just, and then this is the case for a lot of them, that they're just, through these tests, they're just now finding out that their dad isn't their dad like they originally thought. So he just thinks, you know, so yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can cut through this and bottom line it. So do you think your dad is coming from fear, or is he coming from love and trust?
No shit, it's fear.
Yeah, so he's obviously afraid. So, you know, A Course in Miracles says that every action is either an expression of love or a call for love. Yes?
Yeah.
So can you reframe your dad's attitude as somebody who's hurting and wounded and missing out on love and needing love? Can you see him as that instead of a bad guy?
It'll take a while, but I mean, yeah. I mean, he does have a partner. They've been getting together for 20-some years, but I mean, you know, I think it stems from his dad. His dad being not, you know, so nice, and you know, his other two siblings.
He's
haven't talked to him for 25 years, but it's been 25 years. I mean, I guess he must still be upset about it. I mean,
hold on to stuff for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to congratulate you for reaching out to him. I know you want to recreate your relationship with him. So if he goes into fear and does weird things, and then you go into fear, then now you have two people in fear, yes?
Yeah.
So what would your voice of love say to you, Ashley Elizabeth?
Um, that he is hurting and that he's probably acting out of pain himself.
Yes, yes. And what would be a kind way for you to be, how can you be kind to yourself in this situation? What would be soothing and relaxing to you, my dear?
Well, I kind of think I might need to cry some more. I did do a lot of crying already, but I think maybe
Uh-huh.
I could do some more. But
And what would the
maybe
tears say? What would you cry about? What would the tears say?
that I feel hurt and wronged and miss what's the word I want to use?
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, yeah. So you're in integrity with yourself. You did the right thing from your viewpoint. So
Yeah.
you didn't do anything wrong. So
I
you're
mean, but do
okay
you
with
think I did by reaching out to my new matches on Ancestry or 23andMe?
not at all. I mean, really, it
Because
was a
by
sincere.
them doing it, they're putting themselves out there to be contacted. So I mean, yes, I did tell him I was gonna wait, which I did a week. I thought a week was good. Maybe it wasn't, but according to him, but or however long it was, maybe a little longer than a week. But
You didn't do anything wrong. You made a sincere effort. And not everybody's ready to receive love. You wanted to give your father love and his partner, whoever it is, and you reached out. But some people are in such pain that they can't let the love in and they resist it. So this is not about you at all, Ashley Elizabeth. It's about your dad and his partner. Can you reframe it as such so it's not really your problem, it's just theirs?
yeah, but I do feel like some of what I mean. Yeah, I do know that I am kind of selfish, but I mean, when it comes for certain things, I'm not. When it comes for animals, there was so one day I jumped out of the bed at 8 o'clock this morning when my neighbor told me her dog found a
Yeah.
distressed kitten. So I jumped out of the bed in 5 seconds to go help the kitten. So I mean,
Can I
but
make a suggestion?
what?
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Channel your love into your relationship with animals because they're more ready and willing to receive it. Work with the willing and give
Okay, but
love to those who are ready to receive it, which in your case is animals more than your family.
yeah, I'm glad you brought up that too. I was thinking, I mean, a lot of people, and my dad himself has said this, and I've said this in the past, but now I'm starting to think, a lot of people say they love animals more than people. Well, I got to thinking about that, and if we keep believing that, aren't we just going to keep attracting shitty people into our lives?
Say again, I didn't hear it.
I got to thinking about the thing that people say they love
Yeah,
animals
yeah,
and more than people, and I
yeah.
got to thinking about that. If we keep saying that and believing that, are we just going to continue to attract shitty people into our lives?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it? So, can you reframe people like animals and recognize that they're just calling for love like animals are? And instead of getting upset when they don't receive love, what would you do if you had a little doggy, a kitten who was wounded or had been traumatized and snarled at you? How would you deal with that little kitty or puppy?
I would try and hug it and just give it love, because I know they do say when you hug them, or when they have those thunder jackets, that when you do that, it helps soothe them and calms them down. Or you
So
can also, I heard they say
you would hug it and give it
that
love. So can you hug and give your father love from a distance? Now, if he doesn't want you to contact him, that's fine. But in spirit, can you just send him love and say, Dad, I know you're hurting and I want you to be well, and I'm sending you a virtual hug. Can you treat him like a wounded puppy?
not right now. It's going to take a week or so, but
Okay.
yeah, maybe eventually. And I also thought about maybe sending him through Amazon, because I know you can do it through Amazon, saying sending people things without knowing who it came from. I was thinking of maybe sending him your new book, but I don't know.
I don't know if you want to
Maybe
get
not
me
right
involved
now.
in this. Well, maybe that helped. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. What are you going to do during that week that's going to soothe you? This is a really good question here. So you said, well, I think I'll feel better in about a week. What can you think or say or do or feel during that week that would bring you back to clarity and center?
Maybe just some of my breath work, and that'll maybe help center me a little bit.
Good. Breath work. What else do you do?
Yesterday morning I went on a good walk by the waterfront. So
Breath work, walk, excellent. You're on the right track now. What else?
Well, the smoke's better now, so I can do more outside now. But I mean, I don't know. I have a cousin who has a book. Our pool is closed due to COVID, but I was thinking about asking my cousin in Antioch if I could, come and swim in his swimming pool.
Okay, so connect with your cousin in a swimming pool. Cool. Great. So do you notice, my dear, that as you're talking about these 3 tension relievers, that you're actually getting more relaxed, and you're a lot more relaxed than you were when you started a few minutes ago?
Not really, but
Well, can I just give you feedback that
I'm
you settled
extremely
down at
honest
least a little?
person.
What's that?
I'm extremely honest person, but I think that sometimes my honesty, I think, can get me into trouble.
Well, your honesty is a virtue. Your honesty is an asset. You can be honest with me. You know that.
Well,
So
but I mean, in general, I'm extremely, and I mean, sometimes maybe I tell people things I didn't tell them.
But that's an asset. You understand, some people can't handle honesty, but other people can. So you want to be honest with the people who can handle it. And the other people, maybe they don't really belong to you, you know.
How do I figure out if they can handle it or not?
Well, you be honest with them and see what happens. You see if they, you see if they react or not. So how about if we say that during this week, your main goal will be to calm down, relax, drop into your center, take your walks, do your breath work, play with your cousin, and just kind of gradually drop more and more back into your center, and just pray to see this clearly. Great Spirit, show me how I can best relate to my dad. And then I'm willing to go along with the guidance I receive. How would that work for you?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I think I need to distract myself for a while. Maybe not think about like what you're saying right now, but maybe in a month, a couple weeks or so, then maybe I can. But I think just if I walk and swim and do things like that, that'll distract me.
Yeah, and it's you're calling it a distraction. In a way it is, but it's really just putting yourself in the right state of mind. And it's like the more you're in your right state of the mind, the more you'll know what to do and how to relate to your. And I don't want to wait a couple of weeks or a month. I'm going to hold you to it. When we first started our conversation, you said, I think it'll take me a week to calm down. So I'm going to hold you to that a week. I don't want it to go on for weeks or a month, okay?
Okay.
Okay, now you're smiling.
Thank you.
Okay, I sure love you. You're a good soul. You really mean well. You really want to connect. You're really honest. You got a lot of stuff going for you. Don't let yourself be put off by other people who are in pain. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them. Just stay in your right mind and heart, and you'll be guided, I promise you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Love you.
Love you. Bye, thanks.
Okay. Let's go to Yukiko-san. Yukiko, would you put your video on, please? We'll see what we have to talk about today. And then your audio. Hi, Yukiko.
Good morning, Alan.
Thanks for joining us. What's going on?
Yes, I hope I can make sense to you, but I hear there are 2 conflicts going on in my mind as far as do what you like, follow your heart, and then you'll be, how can I say, be great. And then the other message that I hear or read is, do you have to get out of your comfort zone and go beyond your fear to be great. So sometimes I feel like, should I do this? I don't want to do this, but do I need to do this? Because I need to get beyond the fear to be, to become who I want to be. So how can you differentiate those 2, conflicting ideas?
So you're kind of conflicted between follow my heart and get out of my comfort zone. Yes, got it. Is there a particular situation that's bringing this question up for you, my dear?
Yes. So I recently started coaching, and my fear is to be seen, to be known, to be standing out in all the crowd. I grew up in Japan, so it's like, I want to stay in this nice around community of people not
Right.
standing out. So
Right.
that's my,
Okay.
right now it's.
So the voice of fear says, if I put myself out there, as a coach, it's scary. I'll be exposed. I might be judged, and it's not in my comfort zone, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what would the voice of love, trust, or confidence say?
I think there's some people that I can help. Some people could benefit from what I will do, coach. Right.
So even though it's a little uncomfortable for me, there might be a bigger benefit in helping other people, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so which voice feels better?
I think I have to go beyond my comfort zone to be able to help them.
Yes, you're asking a really good question, because when we say follow your bliss, follow your joy, it's follow your deepest joy. And if there's a deep voice that says, wow, I can help people, this is going to be a good path for me, the ego is uncomfortable, but the spirit is strong. And so you're being asked to drop into the deeper voice of joy, not just the personality or ego joy that says it's going to be scary for me. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Tell me more about how you could help people. Let's kind of expand this a bit. So, how could people's lives get better if you coach them?
Actually, I work for this local carrier here in Hawaii.
Yes.
And you know which one. And we're going through such a hard time right now.
Okay.
And because we have to let go of a lot of employees, my fellow colleagues, my heart is aching. So I really want to help them. But then again, I don't know why, but I don't want to feel like I know better than you kind of position. So I want to offer them coaching. Then again, it's part of me is holding me back because I'm still, junior seniority in the structure of the company. I don't want to be telling older, people or what to do or how to feel or
Well, coaching is not necessarily about telling people what to do. It's about supporting them. And so if your intention is pure and you really want to help, that's not ego, that's not superiority. And another way to hold it is to say, okay, I'd like to offer this to you. And if you like to receive it, I'm happy to give it. And if not, that's okay too. So then the choice is theirs. And then if they come to you for coaching, then they're open and willing and ready to receive. How would that feel?
Yes, I feel, comforting to me.
Can we do a little role play?
Okay.
So make believe I'm one of your colleagues or somebody you like to coach. How would you offer it to them? What might you say, Yukiko?
I'm available anytime when you like to talk about how you're feeling, and just by expressing your feeling or just let out your emotion, you might feel better. Or maybe I can maybe give you some resources of how to navigate in this time. It's been really hard for us.
Great. How does that feel?
Feels okay. Feels good. I need to be more comfortable doing this. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people are in fear on the planet now, and anybody who's offering any kind of spiritual support is going to be very valuable. So it's ego that says they might not like it, I might be pushy, I might be superior. That's all the voice of fear. But the voice of love says, hey, I have something to offer, and this person's life could actually be better because I chat with them. And I love how you said, I'm just going to give you a chance to express yourself and I'll listen. You're not like you're going to cram advice down their throat. You're going to really just support them by being there for them. So that's a lovely. How would you feel if somebody offered that to you, Yukiko?
Yes, I would be really appreciative of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So everything you're saying is a good. You're really offering a lovely service here. You're offering to bless somebody and relieve their suffering and make their life easier. What could be wrong with that?
Thank you.
Yeah, and you're a good coach. You're an
Thank you.
excellent coach.
I love your book. Business. No,
Yeah, spirit means business.
Spirit Means Business. I love
yeah.
that book. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Are you in Japan now?
Actually, I'm in Hawaii right now.
Okay, very good. Okay, we're on the same time zone. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, does that give you some more clarity?
Yes, thank you so much.
Just remember that sometimes Spirit's guidance brings a deeper joy than personality joy. So you say, well, personality, let's go out and eat sugar and have sex, and that's kind of like a personality joy. But there's a deeper joy that says, wow, I can really help somebody if I get out of my comfort zone. That's a reward that runs far deeper than my personality safety zone. And then you have the power of the universe behind you because you're listening to Spirit's guidance, not the personality's guidance.
Thank you, Alan.
I feel good?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Okay, lovely. Okay, let's go to Yvonne. Yvonne, you want to put your
Hi
video
there.
on? Hello. Good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
Alan, I have 100 million questions, but I'm trying to explain you a wee bit of my life situation so you understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Well, basically, I'm a German living in Scotland, so I'm quite far away from you. And I'm a single mom with a 3-year-old daughter who's got a Scottish father, okay? So, and when I split up from her dad, I was very much, following what you said, the spirit guidance, and I evaluated my life and I thought, okay, I'm living really isolated as a single mom with no family whatsoever close by, no friends close by. I'm doing a job I don't like. I have to commute hours to work. I have to give my daughter to a childcare setting that I don't like. This is not working. So I was honest and I said to her father, I need to go where we've got a better quality of life, So that's what I did. And what happened, that was when she was 9 months old. Now she's 3 years old, okay? So what happened was he took me to court, okay? So, and this court process has been over 1.5 years now. I'm still where I am. I'm still in the same situation. And I'm listening to all this spiritual guidance, including yourself, which is always helping me in a way, but I always come to the same situation of like, this is all good about follow your heart and follow your intuition and follow spirit. And I always come to the same situation that I'm thinking, yes, I do know where I need to go. I do know what I want to do to have a healthier life for my daughter and me. However, I've got this court process that's been on hold for ages, and that's sort of saying I'm meant to stay where I am while it's going on. And I so far haven't found any spiritual guidance that's telling, like, what should I do? Like, I can't, I'm actually, everything is saying self-empowerment, you can do it. So I'm thinking now, energetically, am I, do I keep this somehow in place? It's like, what is the guidance if there's a court process sort of stopping me to follow it and forcing me to stay in the job I don't like, in the, staying. Yeah. So yes, I don't know, because there's so many questions concerned, but I'm really struggling to. It's like I can't really accept this situation. I can't believe this is how it's meant to be, to be in such a unhealthy situation. So I feel I can't accept it, and I have so much resentment for it that life is even harder for my daughter and me, and going to work and her settling. And
Yeah.
well, basically, I've so far not found any guidance that giving any advice in a situation like
Well, so it's a tough situation. You left your child's father. You're happy with you're happy you're away from him. The court is trying to get you back. It's tough. Got it. The last thing you said, Yvonne, sounded like really good guidance to me. What I heard you say was, I can't believe this is how I was meant to live. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So part of you realizes that you deserve better. And that's the part of you that's going to carry you through this. You understand? It's like it's only when we can continue to put up with craziness that the craziness continues. So let's leave your ex-husband and the court out of this for a moment. How can you hold this in a way that helps you relax a little more? You've given this a lot of thought for 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years. Do you have any moments of clarity or intuition that you're on the right track? What does your inner knowing tell you about this, Yvonne?
I just know I need to somehow keep going to keep my daughter safe.
Mm-hmm.
But living in this life that I'm trying to get out of is very unhealthy too. So it seems like a dilemma.
What if you reframe this as a temporary phase? Well, you have to have your job, you're taking your child to daycare, you're going through this court case. If I promised you that in a certain amount of time, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, this would be behind you and you could get on with living a creative life, would that be empowering to you at all?
Well, that's what I've been telling myself for 1.5 years, but there's no end in sight of this court process, because it's also been held up by vaccination issues. And that's one reason I'm not pushing it forward now, because I don't want to vaccinate it and he does. So it does, yes, I'm actually now I'm actually contemplating now if I should take, I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm actually contemplating now, and that's been my latest intuition in the whole, because I felt so stuck, and energetically I don't want to believe that there's no way. I believe energetically there must be a way. So I'm actually...
Okay, stop right there. I want you to say that again.
Okay. So I want to believe that it feels like I'm stuck. The situation looks stuck.
No, that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked you to repeat. Repeat that one sentence you said. Energetically, ...
Yeah, I would want to believe energetically that there is a way.
Ah, okay. Now, how does that feel when you try that on for size?
Yeah, I always come up with a yes, but, you know.
Well, stop the but. You know, someone once said that you can't always change your environment, but you can change your mind. So you're kind of balled up in fear and resistance and upset. What can you do to calm yourself down and find some more inner peace about this? What can you tell yourself that helps you relax just for now?
Well, I can sort of scramble together the faith that it will help me learn and grow, and that it will help my daughter to learn and grow.
Well, that's true, but that's not much fun, is it?
Not for set lengths of time.
Yeah. How about something like this? And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Wow, I realized that I was not in a happy situation, and I found the courage to leave. That was powerful. I love my daughter enough to take her to a better place. That's powerful. I've been doing really well to take my daughter to daycare. Wow, I must really love her. She must really feel my love and caring for her. Wow, I'm holding down a job to support us both during this temporary time. This situation not going to last forever, but I'm doing the best I can to pull it together. wow, I've put up with this court case, may go on for a little bit, who knows, but I'm still on my spiritual path. I got up late at night to get into this coaching room. I'm speaking to Alan, who's supporting me. I have other friends who support me. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And so even though all these weird things are swirling around, I have found the courage and the fortitude and the strength to move ahead and take care of myself and my daughter. That is a muscle I'm building that will last me for a lifetime. How does that feel?
You know, there's times I feel I can do it, and then there are a lot of times I feel I don't have the willingness to commit to what you just said.
Yes. So remember I said you're learning by contrast. One day I feel like I can do it. Other day I feel like I can't. I'm contrasting the both of these two. I'm trying them both on for size. I'm learning from both, and I'm getting to make stronger and stronger choices. Can you appreciate that contrast?
Yes, I can appreciate that contrast.
Yes.
This life situation takes so much out of me that often I cannot get into that state of mind.
Because you're giving the situation power over you. What the situation is one thing, how you're reacting to it is another. So this situation aside, Yvonne, what helps you relax? What do you do during the course of a day or a week or a weekend that gets you back into your heart or your right mind?
Being in nature.
Nature. Where do you like to go for nature?
And to the forest or to water.
Forest or to water. Perfect. Perfect. What else?
I don't seem to be doing much as a single mom, you know?
Well, that's a good breath. Water and nature. How about, do you enjoy your relationship with your daughter? You love your daughter? So even though there are challenges, I know it's not easy being a single mom, I'm sure there are many moments of reward of being with her, yes?
Yes.
What does she do, or what's the most fun thing you do with her?
Well, just following her lead, I suppose. Yeah, being present with her, which I'm getting better and better at.
So when you drop into those moments of presence, you're in your right mind. And all the thing with your ex-husband and the court and all that stuff, it fades to the background because you're enjoying being with her so much. And when you get to water in the forest, you're enjoying that so much. So in those moments, you've dropped into your right mind, even though this court thing is going on, you understand? So you have the capacity to drop into peace even before this is all resolved legally. That's what I want you to cultivate. I want you to keep coming back to those moments of wholeness, independent of external circumstances. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yes, I do know. And there is another element that I like to bring in, because I've been contemplating the last couple of months if it might make sense to take a risk and move during the court process, which I'm obviously not quite meant to do. Take a risk, because waiting for the ending of a court process is a big risk too. So I'm wondering, my guidance at the moment seems to say just take a risk and move, and try, and hoping that they'll let me continue the court process from where I want to live.
Where would you like to go?
Well, I want to go 3 hours away from here, north, to where I got everything I'm looking for, where I got a support network and everything I'm looking for life. So, so that's where I've been wanting to go for 1.5 years now, and I'm still convinced it's the healthiest place for us. So I'm sort of wondering now, I don't obviously quite know what the legal risks are, but the risks of waiting for another year or so are there too. So I'm sort of wondering how to make a decision.
Well, you know, I like when you said your support system is there. So it sounds to me like if you moved, you would feel much more supported by your community. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. What is your guidance? What does your deepest guidance say to you about this, Yvonne?
Well, it says take the risk and go. And then my other mind said, well, that might really make the court process even harder because they might get me back and then I wouldn't look very good because I've sort of gone against the court usual procedures. But
does the court say you're not allowed to move?
Well, no, it doesn't quite say that, but the court order says she's got contact with her dad for 3 hours on a Tuesday, which he wouldn't be able to do if she's 3 hours away. So I think I'm expected to stay where I am. Also, it's not sort of, you know.
Well, you know, could you have her meet him even though you're 3 hours away? Could you drive 3 hours to let her meet him?
And your computer just crashed. It's switching time.
Maybe. Yes, maybe. I don't know.
It sounds like we have somebody else. You know, I like to believe that with a sincere intention, there's a way to work it out. You know, and the fact that you find more support in this other location is very significant to me. So you could talk to him about it and say, I'd like to move. You could talk to the court about it and say, I'd like to move. You could move and deliver her and drive 3 hours so we can see her 3 hours, the time when he's available, so he won't have to drive 3 hours. I think when there's a sincere intention, then things can work out. What if you gave yourself permission to be where you feel supported and trusted that the universe would take care of you? How would that feel?
Yeah, well, as I said, what I've been trying for 1.5 years, and I was honest, actually, because I was honest and told him, that's why he went to court. I wasn't legally obliged to tell him.
I see, okay.
So the relocation case is with the court, but it's just going on forever.
Okay.
So that's the other thing I struggle with. How can I be punished for being honest?
Well,
everybody's telling me I was too honest.
Punishment is an interpretation. I want to give you 2 pieces of homework, and then we need to move on. Okay.
Okay.
So one piece is to look at. Are you familiar with A Course in Miracles, Yvonne?
Well, not. I mean, just from whatever when you talk about it, but not as such.
Get the Course in Miracles workbook, and go to lesson number 76, which says, I'm under no laws but God's. Now, this doesn't mean you deny human law, but it means that there's a higher principles by which life functions. So I want you to read that lesson. And it's funny you should mention this because the other night I watched a movie about J.K. Rowling. You know J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter?
Yes.
So she went through something very, very similar to you. And do you get Netflix in Scotland?
Yes, I don't have it, but yeah, you could do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there's I forget the name of the movie, but it's a J.K. Rowling biography. It's like a 1 or 2 hour biography, and she moved to Portugal, and she met this guy. She married this guy. She got pregnant. He was abusive. She took the baby, moved back to Scotland, may I say, to Edinburgh, may I say. And she went on welfare. She was on public assistance with a little baby in diapers. And she was so destitute that she was going to maternity stores and stealing diapers. And meanwhile, she would sit at coffee shops and write the manuscript for Harry Potter longhand. She's now the richest woman in England. Maybe she's richer than the Queen of England. Can you believe that? And she went through exactly what you're going through. And she wrote Harry Potter in her free time, even when she had a little girl in diapers. So there. So if J.K. Rowling could make the best of a situation that was in some ways worse than yours, you can somehow work your way out of this. That's what I believe about you, Yvonne. And the fact that you're on this meeting and you have a spiritual path and you have a good heart, I think is all working in your favor. Okay?
Thank you. Thank
Carry
you.
on, sister. Carry on. Don't let all this stuff stop you. Just carry on with your joy, okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank
Thank
you,
you for
Alan.
tuning in. I know it's late at night over there.
Thank you.
Okay. God bless. Okay. Good people we have. Okay, one more. Good old Benaz. Benaz, would you put yourself on video if you would, dear? Hello. We have 5 minutes or so.
Hi, Alan. It's so good
Hi,
to see
good.
you.
What's going on? Let's hear. How are you?
Doing really well, thank you. It's great to be here today. So I spoke with you last week about a lot of trauma that came up for me around family of origin and like how I talked to you about taking space away. So ever since last week, I've been tapping into my body's wisdom, and what I've noticed is that every summer when it kind of approaches do you see me?
Which is what?
Sure. Oh, sorry, there was something happening with the window. So ever since last week, I realized that the end of the summer marks a lot of brings a lot of anxiety to me. I lost my sister-in-law. I had my big thyroid removal. I had big breakups. I had a lot of major transitional things happening in the month of September. So typically from mid-August until, end of September, I go through these phases where I am quite sensitive and triggered because it is a liminal zone for me. Though at the moment I'm in a moment of flow, and I'm really grateful for it because I've been nurturing myself, giving myself time away when I needed it. And my fear is how can I proactively stay in this moment of grace while I move through these energies, and also be conscious of the fact that my body holds these complex traumas, and I want to be gentle with myself. I want to be loving and compassionate as much as I can, and also honor the fact that yes, some triggers may come up because these things happen in layers. It's not like one day I can heal. I mean, that would be wonderful. I'm open to miracles, but I understand I'm kind of like a slow, steady, consistent kind of person when it comes to healing. So
I like what you said about how can I hold to grace? How can I move this with grace? I also like what you said about, the trauma kind of comes in waves or layers, which tells me that there are moments when the trauma does not come.
yeah.
And so what if we reframe this as a really powerful spiritual seminar for you to rise above the belief that you're affected by some kind of external condition like the month of August.
Yes.
You see, can I tell you a quick little story that's kind of related?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a really good documentary, I forget, it's called Born into Brothels by, I forget her name, it was Academy Award winner. And she was an American photographer who went to the slums of India, and she would try to extricate these kids from prostitution because they were thrown into prostitution at age 12, 13. And she would get them into photography school so they could get out of the neighborhood, get out of the house, and have a good life. And once she got one girl almost accepted to this photography school, but her grandmother wouldn't let her go to the interview because the interview was on Thursday and the grandmother's husband had died on the Thursday. So she made this whole superstition up that bad things happen on Thursday, and she was interfering with this kid getting a good life because of her superstition. So it's kind of an obvious example, but what if August has no power over you? And what if even if challenging things come up in August, you're bigger than August, you're bigger than the challenges? How would that feel as a reframe?
I love that. That's my struggle. I give into astrology, to the moon cycles, to September, to August, to being a Taurus and a Leo rising and a this and that. So it's
Stop it. Stop it. None of those aspects deserve your power. They're all lesser than you are.
so funny because when I see people, the life coach in me is like, you are not limited by anything.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to me, I look in the mirror, I'm like, yep, I see all these things happening.
Yeah. Well, we
Truly.
all have a blind spot, don't we? We all have something we don't see. But think of it this way, dear. You overcoming August and Leo and all that stuff, that's going to build a muscle in you that makes you a better life coach than ever. So then when people come to you and say, I'm a Taurus, I can't marry this guy. Well, guess what I did? I'm a Leo and I overcame August. Look at me. Yeah, rah, rah, rah. So this is really part of your training to be an even better life coach.
That makes so much sense because I'm also a photographer, and these days photography is my creative outlet. I've been taking myself on, I've been pushing the limit of my mind and these beliefs by exploring my surrounding, like going into the world instead of staying inside a superstition about August or September.
Yeah. Stay in your passion, stay with the photography, stay in your joy, your meditation, whatever you do. And you cannot be in your resistance and your passion simultaneously. There are two different frequencies. So as you rise into your creative passion, that other stuff will seem irrelevant, really.
That makes sense. Do you think hormones have to do with the way we I believe I'm adding, my body's probably reacting to these beliefs, and that's why hormonal fluctuations are happening too.
I think hormones influence, but they don't cause.
Yeah.
They may exert a certain effect on you, but how much effect they exert is really up to you. You can rise above them. You're bigger than August, you're bigger than your astrology, you're bigger than your hormones, really. So they're all the same thing, just different thoughts of this thing has power over me, which they don't. I know you experienced that, but I know you, and you're bigger than all of them put together.
Yeah, I have such a courageous and brave heart. I know that about me. So
Well, I'm glad you realize that. Okay. Hey,
Thank
we got
you.
a time. Good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank
Enjoy
you.
your August and your hormones and your astrology. Enjoy them all. Okay,
I
thank
will
you.
update you. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it.
Okay, let's close with a prayer. We had some fantastic clients today. I'm always blown away by how honest you all are, and reaching out from all over the world, and it's my honor to play with you. Let's close with a moment of knowingness and prayer, shall we? Let's all take a deep breath together. I appreciate the contrast of my experience that allows me to go deeper into my soul and connect with my true guidance. Even though life seems to be swirling around me, within me, there's a quiet place. The yogis say, go to the place where the candle flame does not flicker because the winds of outer change cannot get to it. So for all our callers today, for all our clients today, and all of us, really, I affirm that there is a quiet place within us that is connected to authentic guidance from higher power. And that as we drop into it by doing what brings us joy, by getting clear and getting calm, so then the voice of God can speak to us and guide us baby step by baby step to claim our right place in life, to claim our highest relationships, to bless others as we bless ourselves, and to be perfectly attuned to the will of God, which is only the will of love. If you've closed your eyes, you can open them or stay in meditation as you like. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a blessing to be with you. Quick reminder that we're starting our 8-week webinar series, The Master Keys of Healing, starting on September 9th. You go to my website, alancohen.com, if you want to sign up for it. I think a lot of you already have, but we welcome the rest of you if you want to join us. I love you. I'm so glad to be with you. Have a fabulous week, and we'll see you next week. Aloha.